I guess it's really upsetting and it feels hurtful that people see me as a threat.
Heidi Chow was on a train in London last week with her husband and children when she noticed a man leave the empty carriage they were on to move to another one.
But because I look Chinese or from East Asia, therefore I must have the coronavirus. And yeah, so it's quite hurtful to think that people are thinking that of me when I go into a room or when I go onto public transport.
She says the same thing has happened to her a number of times in the past few weeks, with people trying to avoid her in public spaces.
The risk of me having coronavirus is the same as any other non-Chinese person in London or in the UK, because I haven't been to China in the last 2 weeks. In fact, I've only been to China probably for a day trip 25 years ago.
As international concern over the coronavirus grows, it's fueling reports of discrimination against Chinese people, including here in Europe. It's led the UN to speak out on the issue, saying no amount of fear can excuse hatred. The UK government has also urged people to avoid any hysteria.
The rejection that this whole House demonstrates to any racism and insensitivity towards the Chinese community here, or indeed visitors here of Chinese origin, because that will not help us tackle this disease.
Some members of the UK's Chinese community say they've witnessed a rise in racist behaviour recently that's coincided with the spread of this outbreak. But many also say this isn't anything new. It seems dealing with racism has become a normal part of life for some East Asians, even those who were born and raised in this country.
For 20 years, Dr. Diana Ye has been studying the history of Chinese people on these shores. She says the coronavirus has been racialized as something specifically linked to China.
I think we've seen this time and time again throughout history. There's always been a kind of latent racism, I would say, against the Chinese in Britain as globally, with yellow peril from the 19th century, straight up to, we can think about SARS 2003.
Social media is also playing a role. In France and other parts of Europe where cases of racism have been reported, the hashtag I'm Not a Virus has led to shows of support for victims of xenophobia.
It's playing as an evil a role in terms of spreading fear as it is in creating forms of solidarity.
With cases of the virus now reaching the tens of thousands, focus is on containing this deadly disease. But thousands of miles away, even those with no symptoms are feeling the effects.